can't form a relationship with people who only want you for the things that you can do rather than who you are. Welcome back to another episode video, Art and Talk. Today I wanted to talk about the topic of people wanting you for what you can do, how you perform rather than who you are inherently, and how relationships like that will not and cannot work. And so I was reading my Bible and I was reading John chapter 6, and I stumbled across a verse which was John 6:26. And when reading this, I realized Jesus has experienced something similar. So before I tell you that verse, I kind of want to explain what I mean by that. When you look at the relationships in your life, and when you really take inventory of who's in your life, and you look at each relationship individually, do you notice any patterns? Do you notice that people only call you when they need something? Do you notice that people only come to you to complain? Do you notice that people only talk to you about what you can do? I remember I was acquainted, at the time I would say friends, but I was acquainted with this person, and I started to notice that this person only cared about me or only wanted me around when they needed me for something, when there was something that I could do, a way that I could perform for them, a way that I could give them advice. And I started to realize every time I talked about myself, or every time I tried to talk about my interests, they would completely shut out. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't ever even ask me about my interests. They didn't care about who I was as a person. What they cared about was what I could give them. And so in this moment, I'm thinking, oh, well, I have this friend, and I have that friend, and I have that friend. But what I didn't realize is that I don't have friends. I just have people following me around to take from me. And once they've taken from me, they're going to continue to stay so that they can take. But it's my job to pull my hand back and say, you can't just come near me when you want something. If you don't love me for me, if you don't love me for who I am, then you can't be around me, or we can't sustain this relationship. And so when we go back to the Bible verse, this is Jesus talking about how he's the bread of life. And basically Jesus had fed 5,000 and he'd done this miraculous thing by feeding 5,000 people. And so the people started to follow Jesus around. And so Jesus left, and then the people followed him again. And they were looking for him everywhere. And they asked him, why did you go to the other side of the lake? Why did you leave? And Jesus replied, truly, I tell you, you want to be with me because I fed you, not because you understand the miraculous signs. But don't be so concerned about perishable things like food. Spend your energy seeking the eternal life that the Son of Man can give you. For God the Father has given me the seal of approval. And I absolutely love this because I always say, there's nothing you can't find in the Bible. I think a lot of the times when we think of the Bible, we think so everything's about tradition, everything's about doing things a certain way, but the things that we experience in real life, there's nothing that is not in the Bible. And so Jesus experienced something similar where he was having all of these people follow him, right? And a lot of people, if they were in Jesus's position, if I was in his position, I would think, oh my gosh, I have so many friends, I have so many followers, I have so many people who love me. But Jesus didn't see them following him as genuine love. Jesus saw their hearts. And that's one thing about him. He was able to discern the true and pure intentions of somebody's heart. A lot of us get blinded by people who are love bombing us, which I made an episode about that earlier, but people who are love bombing us, we get excited about people who seem to be excited about us, but you have to think, are they only excited about me when I give them things? Are they only love bombing me in order to work up to asking me for something? And so Jesus noticed that right away. And so while the disciples thought, oh my gosh, Jesus is following us, growing, and this is great, Jesus said, you don't follow me because of me, or because you actually want to understand who I am and how I'm doing these things. You're following me because I fed you. You're following me because I gave you something and I satisfied you in a way. And so Jesus said, and I love how compassionately he actually addressed them, because for me, that would have pissed me off and that would have made me so annoyed, you're using me. But the way Jesus approached it was, he said, I understand that you're satisfied when you're fed. I understand that you like that I can feed you, but you shouldn't be concerned about certain things like this, because at the end of the day, this is not what matters, right? So he still had compassion with them. And I think that's something to know. especially for like someone like me. If you're like me, I get irritated really quickly, and when I see people doing conniving things, whether it's intentional or not intentional or subconscious, like I just feel like it's a direct attack at me. Like you could have used anybody else and you don't actually like me, and that bothers me. But Jesus didn't allow that to stop him from still trying to get through to these people. And so the people then replied, well, we want to perform works for God just like you do. So what should we do? And Jesus told them the only work that you can perform is to believe in the one who has sent me. And then the people go on to say, well, we want more bread. Show us another miraculous sign so that we can believe you. And then this is where Jesus says, I am the bread of life, right? So Jesus didn't give them what they wanted. Instead, he gave them a response that they were not expecting. He said, well, you want more bread, spend more time with me. I'm not going to give you physical bread, but I'm the bread of life. And then later on in this chapter, the people then began to murmur in disagreement because they said, Jesus said, I am the bread of life, and that he came down from heaven. And they said, isn't this Jesus, the son of Joseph? We know his father, and we know his mother. So how can he say he came down from heaven? But then Jesus replied, stop complaining for what I said. And I just think that's so interesting, because these people a second ago were love bombing him, were all over him, wanted to be around him, followed him from one end of the sea to another end of the sea. And when Jesus revealed the true intentions of their heart, which was that they didn't want Jesus for who he was, they wanted him for what he could do for them, they all of a sudden switch their attitude. And when they realize that Jesus is no longer giving, they start murmuring and complaining and being like, well, why is he pretending to be somebody he's not? Why is he claiming he's this? And why is he claiming he's that? And I say all that to say, you need to be careful who you keep in your center. You have to be careful who you keep in your circle. So many people, if you really do a life audit, they want you for your hand. They don't want you for what you can actually do for them. But some people do this subconsciously. Some people were born in environments where they were taught that the only way they could get good things is to manipulate, is to trick, is to take as much as they possibly can, right? So we have to be compassionate in that way and consider that not everybody, that common sense that's common to us is not common to everybody else. So we need to learn to approach people with compassion. But then you might get to a point where the people are starting to complain or starting to be in disagreement with you all of a sudden. And then that is your clear sign that they don't care to reason with you. They don't care that they actually did something to hurt you. They just genuinely want what you can give them. And so Jesus obviously worked through this with these people, and he still made way to preach the word and do these things. But we have to learn that people are not going to get it unless you communicate that with them. A real life example that I can give you is there was this person, and they're in my major, and my major is pretty small in university. So this person was in all of my classes, and this person would always boost me up and be like, you're so smart, you get such good grades, can you help us with this? And I at first I was so happy and blinded by all the compliments I was getting that I didn't notice that every time they were like, oh, let's go study together, it was really me giving them all of my notes. It was really me just teaching them how to do this. I wasn't gaining anything from it. I wasn't studying from it. And the problem wasn't that I wasn't gaining. I love helping people. I love learning. I love teaching people. So I didn't have a problem with teaching them, but I started to notice they only ever called me when they needed something, when they needed notes in class, when they needed somebody to explain a concept to them, when they needed my notes for a closed book exam. And so I had to get to a point where I was like, if you're going to spend time with me, spend time learning from me rather than trying to gain things from me. When you learn from me, you will gain things from me. But if your pure intention is to just gain things from me, then you won't learn anything. And I hope you caught that. And that's the similar thing that Jesus told them. He's like, what you really should be wanting to learn is how to get to eternal life. If you're worried about bread, your life will pass you by, and when it's time to get to eternal life, you won't have learned anything. You wouldn't have gained anything. And so you need to be responsible for setting that boundary in your life. If you find that people are using you for your hand, whether that's for academics or for money, and this can be family and friends too. There are certain family members that only reach out to you when they're short on rent, and they seem to always be short on rent, and nobody else gets reached out to except for you. You need to know when to pull your hand back and stop giving, and tell this person, like, you know what, next time, let me challenge you with something. Actually, next time somebody says, can you give me money, and like, this is a repeat offender, like, I'm not saying somebody who asked you once, but somebody who's like notorious for asking you for a specific thing, next time they come to you and they ask you for something, offer them knowledge instead of offering them something tangible. So let's say somebody's like, oh, I'm below on rent, and I just don't think I'm gonna make this paycheck stretch, can you help me and give me $200? I'll say this: instead of giving you $200, I can teach you, and I can if you come with me, we can sit down, we can see how much you made for this paycheck, and we can stretch your budget, and anything that's left from your budget, I will, fill up. So maybe that might just be $50 that I can be able to give you, but I can teach you how to strategize your finances so that you're not using it on things that don't matter. Watch how that person's face completely changes, because that's not what people want to hear. People don't want solutions to their problems. They want other people to solve their problems for them, and people don't actually want to learn. So you need to be able to get around people who, maybe at first they did ask you for so many things, but that's just because they don't know how to receive. Then you're going to be like, you know what, this is how to do it. So I always suggest approaching people with compassion first, trying to be compassionate, trying to find a way to help that person first, right? Jesus's first interaction with these people was not to judge them or not to really call them out the way he should have, and said, like, you're using me. And if you don't really want to learn about the heaven, about the Bible, if you don't really want to learn, then you need to go somewhere else. Jesus didn't call them out the way he should have, but instead he chose a compassionate route, because sometimes that's all people need. But you're going to run dry continuously giving to people when they don't really want you for who you are. They want you for what you have. Think about the friends you have in your life. Think, do they know my favorite color? Do they know if I even have siblings? Do they know my favorite music genre? Like, these are basic things that you get to know about somebody that you genuinely like and that you genuinely want to get to know. But when someone's using you for your hand, you'll realize, like, they don't know anything about me, and I don't know anything about them. And so I encourage you today, let's think of a challenge for today. My challenge for you today is, the next time somebody who's a repeat offender keeps asking you for something, or asks you for advice on a situation that they really don't want to change, or ask you for money when you see them going to the club and spending money recklessly all the time, the next time somebody who is revving their car the next time somebody asks you for something like that, give them practical tips instead of giving them tangible things, and see how they react. And based on their reaction, you will know who wants you for your hand and who really wants you for you. Because anybody who really wants you for you will see that you're trying to genuinely help them with practical tips, and they will thank you, because they'll be like, you know what, you're the only person in my life that actually looks out for me. You're the only person in my life that actually cares about me. And they'll be able to know that you care about them with the amount of time that you're willing to spend to actually teach them, rather than just throwing money or resources in their face. And so I feel like I kind of rambled, but I hope this made sense. Again, the main topic for this was to teach you about how to spot, like, when people really just want you for what you have and not who you are, and just to kind of tell you, like, you need to have more respect for yourself. If you find you're around people who only want you when you can provide something for them, you need to have enough respect for yourself, and also just have enough discernment to know, okay, this person doesn't need to be in my life, or this person doesn't need to have a spot in my circle anymore, right? That's not fair to you. You deserve to be loved the way that you love other people. You deserve to be cared for. You deserve for people to come into your life and be curious about you. You deserve curiosity, childlike faith in your life, and you don't need to settle for people who just want you for what you have, because newsflash, they're going to keep taking until you pull your hand back. And if you never pull your hand back, you're going to be run dry by these people. And once they're done using you, they'll find someone else who isn't setting boundaries. And so I hope this encouraged you. The verse was John chapter 6, verse 26, or you can do John chapter 6, verse 22 all the way until 59 if you want to read that whole passage. But I encourage you to read it and just kind of like think about it in the context of what I was talking about, but just this is a very much of a what would Jesus do type of situation. Just look at his response, look at his heart posture and the way he responded. I feel like situations like this, especially for me, it makes me so bitter, it makes me so annoyed, and it makes me have so much built up resentment for people like this because it feels so personal. But I think we need to learn how to take things personally and how to not take things personally. Not everything is personal. Like for example, in this passage, it wasn't about how they personally felt towards Jesus. It was a heart posture that they've had for many, many years, because a heart posture like this is built up over time. And so we have to know, okay, this is a character flaw in this person, and this has nothing to do with me. So I challenge you today to kind of just do an audit of your life and see where you've been taken advantage of. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope you got like some key points. I would love for you guys to comment down below, and please tell me what you think about this specific topic. I love hearing other people's opinions. If you disagree with me, I love hearing that too, but please just like let me know. I would love to like talk with you in the comments and go back and forth and kind of bounce off of each other's ideas and see what we think about this. What you think about the Bible verse, how you think, did I interpret it correctly? Would you interpret it a different way? I would just love to know what you think. Your opinion is so valued here, and I hope you guys have a great day and tune in for my next video.